Hi everybody. So with lockdown level 5 export restrictions having been lifted, I'm sure many of you have big volumes of wine that you would like to get bottle ready as soon as possible. And today we're just going to go through a few tools on how you can do that in the least invasive manner possible without losing wine, without losing aroma, and not stripping color out of your wine with more alternate or traditional ways of fining, but rather look at a more additive approach. So the products that we're going to go through today are tannins, gums, and polysaccharides. And just to list a few defects that you might be experiencing right now, well, for starters, most of you have been working with minimal staff for a long time. Maybe you've not been able to give all of your wines the necessary TLC that you normally would, which could have resulted in a loss of freshness, a loss of fruit. You may be worried about oxidative or reductive characters. Your wines may be a little bit rough around the edges, astringent. You'd like to soften it out somehow, create some mouthfeel or length. So there are many things that you might be experiencing in your wine and that we can definitely help out with some of these tools. So first we're going to look at tannins. I split it up in three portions: our oaky tannins, and then our more fruit-driven tannins, and the third group are our technical tannins, before I move on to the next product groups. So our oaky tannins, of course, primary goal of tannins, of course, are to be antioxidants to help you with color stability and overall stability. But luckily for us, because of the origin of these tannins being oak, they can give an added benefit of sensory perfection, if you want to call it that. So some of these tannins come from French oak. Napa, for example, comes from American oak, and depending on the tannin that you're using, you may see some sweetness, you may get a softer mouthfeel, more structure, you may see some vanilla. So yeah, they all have their place on our range, and each tannin works differently with each wine, and sometimes even across vintages you might want to prefer a different tannin. So definitely something that you need to trial, but yeah, they are great, especially if you, for example, have a customer with a specific requirement of getting a oaky wine, but you don't have time to go to barrel, you don't even maybe have time to add some chips to the wine. These are quick fixes. You can use them, the earlier you use them, the better, but you can use them up until 1 or 2 weeks before bottling. Our tannins to enhance fruit expression, these are our mostly condensed tannins. They can consist of grape skins or seeds, but we also have tannins with more exotic origins. So if we look at these tannins, if you look at fresh fruit and Unico 3, they are great for treating white wine, for increasing freshness, lemon, zesty characters on whites. And then for red wine, Unico 2 and Tan Total Fruity are great to enhance the more cherry, strawberry side of things. And then Frutan and Uva are overall great tannins to increase freshness in general, and also to help with the palate of your wine. So all of them, to a degree, will have an impact on your nose and also on your palate. Our third group of tannins are our technical tannins. First of all, Tan SLI. Now we have made a whole presentation just on the topic of increasing shelf life. So Tan SLI is great in that group of products. If ever you want to move wine, you know you're going to get some oxygen in the wine, it's a great tannin to scavenge radicals and to keep your redox potential low and stable. Then, for those of you who don't know yet, we are in partnership with Red Dawn, that is honeybush tannin, and we have two products on that range, Genesis or Revelation. Genesis is a green unfermented tannin, whereas Revelation is a fermented honeybush tannin, and both of them also can have great sensory attributes. Genesis, for example, even from harvest already, is a great alternative to sulfur and can be used to make sulfur-free wines. Revelation, we have seen very interesting results sensorially, so yeah, they are also great products to keep in mind. Then it may be that you would like to simulate lease contact in a way. You maybe don't have time for natural lease contact, or you want to enhance the lease effect that you have. For that, we have polysaccharides with manoprotein content. They differ in terms of the concentration of manoproteins and the speed at which manoproteins are released from products. If I can single out one, if you are now pre-bottling, you need to do a quick adjustment to your mouthfeel and maybe the velvetiness, creaminess of your wine. Surly Velvet is great for that. It is completely soluble and you only need very small amounts to make a big impact. But all four of these products are in stock and they all are very good for simulating lease contact. And ultimately, they help tremendously to restore the balance in your wine. Then, a quite affordable way of increasing mouthfeel and also sometimes promote more fruit, Citra gum, that is our gum arabic from Acacia Sayal, very filterable. So that is our gum arabic. And then last but not least, we have a brand new enzyme that is also very interesting. It's a combination of pectolytic and glucanase effects. And the glucanase is interesting because it can help you release manoproteins from your lees, or in conjunction with the polysaccharides that I just mentioned, it can also help a lot with increasing manoproteins or the speed at which it is released. So on this graph, you can see, for example, what a significant impact it has on the concentration of total polysaccharides over 6 weeks of contact with 3 moles per hectoliter of the product. And another effect of it, as the name suggests, is that it can really improve the filterability of your wine. And yeah, basically, as with all additives, it's important to do trials. What do you do if you have a wine and you want to fix it, you want to get the best out of this wine? You call us, we can come out. Of course, now it might be difficult. Everyone has different rules and regulations in the time of COVID, but I'm sure we can make a plan together. If we can't come to you, we can at least advise you over the phone or supply samples. But it is important, please, to keep contact with us. It is very important that the right dosages obviously be used and the right combinations be used. We've got experience in what works well with what, but what we would normally do is we would take 100 ml wine samples, and for every 1 gram per hectoliter of tannin that you would like to try, we would add 0.1 ml of a 1% solution 200 ml wine samples, and that is how we do the dosages. We would definitely advise combos. We would leave it for a few minutes and then taste the magic, and that is how we can help you with that. Thank you for listening. We would love to hear feedback about these videos. If it's helpful to you, enjoy your day.